Okay, the glue's dried, and I'm going to talk about airbrushing for a minute. Um, I have a Pache airbrush. It's a pretty good one. One thing that you need to, there's a couple things that are important when you're airbrushing. First thing is, always have a clean gun. The paints tend to get clogged up. There's a needle in here, and when you move it in and out, you can see the needle coming in. There we go. And then this, I like this because this is the volume of paint that you can adjust. And then this is your air. So you can actually, if you take this little tip and you hold it really close to something, you can actually put a very tiny, fine amount of air. And it's kind of a fun way to apply paint. For years and years and years, I used tiny paint brushes. And I bought one of these, and I really never went back to using paintbrushes because it's so easy to use. If you're going to use acrylic paints, the thinner is going to be distilled water. If you're going to use enamel paints, you're going to need enamel thinners. Keep in mind that your paint's either going to be water soluble or it's going to be thinner soluble. So don't mix the two because it won't turn out well. And I've done it by accident, and it just, everything gets really gunked up. And then I had this filter thing. You put a little bit of water in here, and you can sort of blow the gun out into here, and you don't have to breathe the vapors. Acrylic is a little bit friendlier to breathe, and then with enamels, you really want some ventilation. This is my garage, so usually I open the door when I do this, but there's cars going by, and they make a lot of noise. So I'm going to use some Model Master Testers flat black paint. I'm going to thin it down a little bit. So this is the container. If you're going to do a large volume of painting, there's little containers that you can use, which are clever. And then these Testers bottles, this came with a little adapter, so I can just plug this right into the cleaner and blow the cleaner through the gun. When I'm all done with it, I take it apart and I soak it in some MEK, and everything's happy for next time. So I'm going to put some in, and then we're going to thin it out. So I don't fill these all the way up, but we're going to need a little bit of paint. I'm going to fill it about halfway. Trying not to get any on you because you can see that it's hard to get off. And then I'm going to put some enamel thinner. This is made by Testers. And I want to get it to be a pretty decent consistency, thin. I happen to know that it's a little bit thick right now, so. Okay, you generally do not want to breathe this stuff. I should probably be wearing gloves too. Got a never-ending supply of Q-tips, which I use to stir things up. You can use paper clips, and you could also use toothpicks. I'd like it to be a little bit thinner than that. Oops, I realized you couldn't see me. That's pretty good. Again, this is flat black paint. And then I'm going to start my spray on some scrap paper I have, which is right here, to get the gun flowing, because it's got some solvent in it right now, and I want to blow it out until it's black. And you can see, get really close. It's just a really easy way to put paint on. If I want a lot of paint, I can go like that. I want a little bit. Probably become a graffiti artist. I can't see that. Anyway, so now my paint's flowing through the gun, and I'm going to hold this like this so you can see it. Let me move my camera. There we go. And I'm going to start really lightly and just kind of start to gray it out. And you'll see. And you don't need a lot of paint here. It actually dries very quickly. And it's almost dry. Just the act of throwing it through the gun actually dries it. And I'm going to go put it in the sun. This paint will be dry in about 5 minutes. Really does not take a long time. When you're doing models, it's just so much easier than laying it down with paintbrushes. And ideally, I didn't get any on the other side. There we go. There's the back side and there's the front side. Whoops. There we go. So you can see it's all done. So now we're going to do the roof. And it's the same sort of deal. The way this is constructed, you can see where the tabs go, where the walls go up to the roof. I'm going to try not to get paint on the outside of those, because then I just have to scrape it off. It's not a tragedy. It's just going to get the paint flowing through the gun. I'm pretty happy with that. So there's the roof. Roof is done. And then one thing you can do to check is turn a light on. And see if you can see the darkness, the dark paint. See any gaps? I see a couple of gaps really around where these tabs are. But again, the paper is going to be on top of them, so I'm not super worried about it. Okay, so we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to go into final assembly. Okay, now the paint's dry, and I'm going to trim these off the tree and do final assembly. Button this thing up. So again, once I get these off, I'm going to trim the black paint off them. So the glue has a chance to adhere better. I've already trimmed off the clear windows. They're right here. All right, here's all the pieces. And then the next thing I'm going to need to do is scrape the paint off this, which I'm going to speed up. All right, that's it. Next thing I'm going to do is take the black paint off the gray window sills so I can adhere the clear plastic. Okay, now the paint's dry and the glue's dry, so let's finish this thing up. Okay, here's my tester's glue. Again, you don't need a lot of glue for this. And go to the outside of these flanges here. Make sure you put the right side up. Make sure everything is square. And that's the foundation and the walls. And the next thing we need to put on are the little platforms. Small platform goes here. It has a little bit of, one side is a little more angled than the other. So you want the flat side to go against the building. Next, I'm going to put the paper in first. Again, that's going to diffuse the windows. And the roof goes on, and we're all done. That's it. And that's the whole kit right there. So I'm going to take a picture of this and show what it's like lit up. And now I've got my tray stations constructed, and I'm going to work on the next house. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.